Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and a man with far too much free time on his hands. This is not a test. This is a random review.
Welcome everyone to my review catch-up week, or like week and a half as it's probably going to turn out to be. So, as you are watching this, I am off on an adventure on the opposite side of the country, so until I get back, the channel is set to upload as many reviews as I possibly can fit in. And now we are going to start by getting all of the Transformer releases that I've been passing over actually out and up for your viewing enjoyment. So, we're going to start with Studio Series 86 Perceptor, mostly because it is a very simple figure, and that will give me a chance to actually work the kinks out here and actually see if this current setup is viable. If the colors are weird or the autofocus goes rogue on me, I apologize. I'm trying to get this done like as efficiently as possible without too much like post-editing. So, as we can see, he is a replica of the original classic children's Microscope toy that the original G1 Perceptor was. Maybe a little bit more shapely, because we are going for an animation, or in this case, movie accurate look once we get to the robot mode, but for now, he's looking quite nice in his bright red and pale blue color scheme. He is exceptionally basic. We will admit this, obvious thighs are obvious, obvious feet are obvious. I really wish these flipped down completely. I'm not even sure why they couldn't, outside of like they really wanted that 5mm port in the foot for some reason. But besides that, yeah, like it's pretty much G1 Perceptor with just a little bit more shapes to him, so he's not so boxy. That's fine. It's like that's really all it has to be, is just a passable semblance of a Microscope. That's really all you want out of a G1 Perceptor. Now, it doesn't actually work. The scale is a little bit too small for that, even if the lenses weren't just like basic pieces of plastic. They do have like a weird thing where like, I don't even know if you can hear that. Let me put it up to the mic. That's a ratcheted joint. Like there's actually like a spring ratchet in the arm, in like this piece of the Microscope mode, for no apparent reason. It's not like you're gonna have like too many strenuous poses where like this could go rogue on you and just go all over the place. There's absolutely no functionality as a Microscope. None of these turn or rotate at all. It does not work as an actual Microscope in any way, shape, or form, so don't expect to be doing lab experiments with it anytime soon. Yeah, pretty basic. Pretty basic. If we look on the back, lots of exposed little bits, so don't turn it around. No cover for the head. This is actually kind of weird, because, like, I understand, like, this is a pretty simple toy, but, like, normally you'd expect the door back here to flip down for the head to go in, so at the very least, you couldn't just see his robot noggin. It's right there between his shoulder blades. So that's a little bit odd. That's a little bit odd. In this mode, not a lot of paint going on. The knobs, those are actual paint, and then like the tray here as well. And that means there's not much in the robot mode either. Again, we're going for animation accurate, so they don't really need to do a lot paint-wise with Perceptor. So, not terribly surprising. Now, we do have the original tank mode, because this was like, once upon a time, Perceptor was a Microman mold, which meant he had like the capacity for a pilot in Microman scale. And this actually has dedicated ports and sockets for that. So if we go on the underside and connect that peg to that spot, rotating the legs around will reveal the treads for the tank mode. Do it again over on this side. And that's basically it. Obviously, he doesn't have anyone to actually ride him here. I'm hard-pressed to think of a Micromaster or Battle Master from recent years that would fit in there. I suppose if you had a Titan Master, that would probably work. That's how the Titans Return one got away with it. The tank mode is basically what it has always been. It is just like a rough semblance of a tank. And really, like, something that made sense in the original toy, but as a Transformer makes no sense whatsoever, because this is certainly not a robot in disguise. This is just a very loose semblance of what it's like, the most basic thing you need for tank: seat, big barrel, treads, and that's about it. It's got this like anti-aircraft angle to it though. That I kind of like. If he was just like a mounted turret position and I could like rotate him around, I think that would actually be way cooler. But he is what he is, a slave to his original design. So we won't hold it against him. It's what he was supposed to do. Let's get him transformed, shall we? Again, there's not a whole lot to it. Perceptor is kind of the budget boy of the bunch. He gets to be kind of bulky and, and nicely sized for the sake of the fact that he's very simple in the engineering department. So, unpeg the legs, swing him down like so. That's it. It's really it. There's nothing else to that part of the transformation. Arms fold out the side like this, rotate them around here at the ball socket in the shoulder, and then just all right. Once you got them up here, rotate that down. That will let you peg the shoulder into place. Do the same thing on this side with this little piece, in like so. Fists flip out. Make sure they have that little... These are stubborn, so make sure you get a good... There we go. Make sure you get that nice click. And then fold out head, rotate around, and that's going to be your robot mode for Perceptor. Flip that into place. Yeah, so really nothing to him at all. He is now the transformation, yes, exceptionally simple. Do we hold that against Perceptor? No, we do not, because that's essentially everything his original toy did. He is being slavishly accurate for the sake of getting a very nice looking cartoon accurate robot mode. That is the entire goal of this particular figure. So the fact that he keeps things simple isn't entirely a detriment if that is what you are going for. All right, so looking him over, he is very nicely proportioned. He does have a nice solid look to him. He does carry a lot of that G1 animation aesthetic to him. I do like the trick of putting that Autobot logo behind the translucent window of his chest. Neat little detail like that. At the very least, it's not going to get scraped off anytime soon. The color is basically the same. This like pearlescent white that forms his chest. That's a little bit more prevalent now that it's been flipped up, but beyond that, it's the same ratio of blue and red. A little bit more of this super dark gray. It's not quite black, but we'll call it dark gray gunmetal, if you will. That's pretty much all you got as far as like color balance. I will say, because he is so accurate to the G1 toy, he is exceptionally clean. Like, he is just nothing to him whatsoever as far as kibble goes. He is just straight up nice looking robot. Autofocus. Will you let me see the head in better detail? Will you autofocus? Please work with me. Please work with me. Oh, it's not working with me. This is why you don't do things. This is why you can't, like, this is why you can't just assume things will work, because when you need them to work, they will not. So, yes, he has a very nice head sculpt. He's lacking a little bit of character. Well, something I notice on a lot of these here, and I'll get that out of the way so the lighting can be a little bit even. Something I notice about a lot of these head sculpts lately is just this lack of character to them. We've seen with like we see with Kingdom and Legacy Blaster, there's a running variant to change up his face to have a little bit of a smirk to it. That helps. It would have been nice to see a little bit more to him than just like this super stoic face, because Perceptor is usually like a little bit happier than this, I feel. Just one fan's opinion. It's a very nice head sculpt besides that, though. You know, I just prefer a characterful noggin. That's all. So, as said, he doesn't really have any features to him in this mode outside of just looking really, really clean. So I can go straight into the articulation demonstration, which includes the head, which does rotate 360 and has a little bit of a nod to it. The scope itself is on this arm, so you can extend it in a few different ways. You could do this in the tank mode as well, but I never really found anything like really good with it. If you want, there's a tab here right behind his back, so you can actually secure it back here. Whoa, I thought I secured it back here the last time I messed with it. There we go. There we go. Yes, you can secure it to the back, just in case you want a Perceptor that has absolutely nothing going on in the robot mode, and you can hide his like main distinct feature if you so choose. Ball jointed shoulders means full motion all the way around. You have a bicep rotation at 360. You have a 90-degree elbow joint. Nothing at the wrist, but we do get a decent waist joint as well as hips that are universally jointed. The thigh swivel works well. You have a very deep knee bend, always appreciated, and then the ankle rockers are present. All of the necessary articulation. You would notice there that his legs went akimbo for a second because those hinges that make his microscope mode possible don't really have any stopping point to them. There's no like friction spot or any kind of like faux ratcheted effect to it. It's just a standard joint that just flops all around. So you have to make sure you are careful or your Perceptor is going to end up looking a little bit weird as you pose him. You want a little bit of firepower, you get just that. You get a little bit of firepower with this small-ish blaster. For those who watch out for hollow parts, his legs are mostly fine, mostly because there's so many hinges in them to make everything work. You can find some hollowness if you really look. The forearms hide the fists, so you're going to find a little bit there, of course. For the most part, he's a little bit more solid than most I've seen these days. Okay, fine. Yes, there's hollowness in the shoulders as well, but if you look at him from all the way around, you're not going to spot a whole lot. So that I would take as a plus. So beyond that, if you want to deck him out a little bit, he does have 5mm ports covering his body. You get a few up here on each, on this side of the microscope. That could be useful. That I could see being fun. You also have on the sides of the shoulders and the sides of the legs, of course, on the arms as well, and of course on the back. That port there will work, and if you've got a stand with a 3mm port, you have a stand port. So he's fine. Like, there's nothing good nor bad to say about Perceptor. He does exactly what his job description requires. He is a Perceptor. So, like, I can bring in Titan's Return Perceptor, and you can see, like, he is a little bit bigger, and you can see what I mean about him being much more squared off. I'm not necessarily sure he's a big enough improvement over the Titan's Return figure. He is more G1 accurate, more cartoon accurate if that's what you want, but the Titan's Return play features still exist in this version of the figure, which does give it a little bit more of an interesting effect as opposed to this Perceptor, which, as said, does a good job of being Perceptor, but is otherwise kind of bland as a toy. So that's my thoughts and reviews on Studio Series Perceptor. He's fine. He does what he's supposed to do. He does not fail at it, but he does not excel at it either. Pick him up if you want a nice, clean figure. If you want a Perceptor that really doesn't do anything offensive. But if you're looking for like a dynamic transformation experience, if you're looking for, something that's a little bit more fun to goof around with, this ain't the figure to do it with. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.